and breathe. Okay, where to begin? Hi guys, what is going on, and welcome back to another video. Now I'm not gonna cry. I've just had a bit of a well up and I've just kind of composed myself again. I've just literally got back to London from my mum's. I'm spending a little bit of time in Manchester and in London, but today's video you will have been able to see, I'm sure, by the title, and that if you follow me on Instagram you'll know this video is coming. It is the first episode of my moving on series, and this one is definitely the most poignant one for me because it's going to be all about not necessarily what happened in my breakup, but I feel like really positive, actionable steps that I have learned over the last 17 days, and I'm still kind of doing them. I'm still processing it, but I feel like I know these do work, and if you are going through a breakup, maybe this can help you. For those of you who just follow me on here, out of the blue, 17 days ago, my now ex-boyfriend decided that he didn't want to be with me anymore, and he basically didn't think we were going in the same direction. We didn't necessarily want the same things in the amount of time, and that he didn't know the way that he felt about me anymore. And even though I can say that without absolutely bawling my eyes out, like, it's her. And don't worry guys, I have cried a lot of tears and have just had a bit of a well up as well coming back to my flat. It's hard. Like I'm still a little bit in shock, I think, because it's crazy to think, and this is what I'm kind of gonna go into a lot more in this video. It's crazy in your eyes, and that you believe that you have already planned this like future with a person, and for a person not to feel the same, it just, yeah, it's sometimes you just can't comprehend it. And I do hope in the future, when I'm kind of an observer of this, that I will have seen, like, I will have been blindsided and I'll have seen little hints that I should have been aware of, and that there are some things that I am building on and I want to talk about. And because I've kept a journal throughout the 17 days, I wanted to give you 10, and I've written down 4 pages, guys, in this notebook, like literally 4 pages, 10 things that you can do to help yourself get over the loss of someone and heartbreak. So let's get on with the video. So I wanted to say that everyone's situation is different. Everyone has their own sort of baggage to deal with. So the first things first that I would say is to delete, block. It is hard, but the day that my now ex broke up with me, that evening after I saw him and realised, like, that is the end, immediately when I got home, because I know what kind of person I am, and to be honest, a lot of people are, you just want contact with them, even their friendship circle. It isn't anything, a bad representation about them, but if you see someone and you can see they're online on WhatsApp, you can see them on Instagram, you can see them on Facebook, that isn't going to be how you're going to move on. And also, our minds are pretty crazy and complicated things, and everything is a highlight reel online, as we all know, and you'll be able to see them going out or whatever, even if they're hurting too, even if they're doing that as a coping mechanism. You need to look after yourself right now. Okay, number 2, and I'm kind of trying to do this in a little bit of a timeline run through. On the first day, rang everyone that I needed to, rang my mom, was in bits, didn't sleep all night, and then drove to my friend Hannah's. And it's so important to be around people that obviously care about you and you trust, you need to feel how you're feeling and you need to let it all out. So on the Saturday, I went to see Hannah. She gave me a hug. We walked around the shops. I started crying in various shops. I couldn't eat, but she was just patted me and I knew that she was there. I knew that I was in someone else's space. And I knew that I could cry. And on the Sunday I went back to my mum's for a few days and obviously cried and cried and cried there. But it's important that you have people around you, because the worst feeling in all of this, and like I said at the beginning, is being alone in your thoughts. Number 3. Obviously you're going to cry and cry and cry and think, I do not know a life without this person. You are in love with them. But you have to understand, you had a life without this person. You were alive, you did things that made you happy. You maybe built up your own success without this person. You had a life without this person in your life, so you can do it again. It may be hard, you may be confused, you may not think right now, if it has just happened, that you will not be able to carry on, but you will, and I guarantee you will. It may feel dark at the moment, but you will see that light, honestly, I promise. Even if it's 1% every day, you will see that. And I totally advise you, like I have, and I'll keep it up, I think, for the foreseeable future, this diary and journal of my thoughts. So even if you don't think you're making progress and you still feel in the depths of despair, have a look back a few weeks, a few days, and you'll be able to see different kind of changes in yourself. And I think that's really powerful for moving forward. Number 4, you are not unlovable. When rejection happens, it could even be like rejection from a job, our egos go, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough. All these things go in our head. But in actual fact, if you break it down and take yourself out of the situation for a moment, I know it's hard, guys. I'm literally here with you going through this. There are another 7 billion people or whatever in this world. I mean, I don't know the exact figure. I'm sure it changes like second by second, obviously. Even before I knew that there was never gonna be just one person in the world for everyone. You may have a person that you get on with on so many different levels and that you fall deeply, madly in love with them, but there is always going to be many thousands more that you will be completely compatible with and have a lovely rest of your life with. So we are not meant to like everyone, we are not meant to love everyone in the world. And I think what has come out of this so far for me is that I like to be in control. I feel like I can read people and situations really quite well. I'm a planner and an organizer, and when this happened and it was something completely out of my control about how someone felt about me, it hit me like, how has this happened? And I was totally unaware, like, you can't leave, like how has this happened? And I think what you've got to realise is that you can do everything in your power. You can be yourself, you can do everything in your power to be a good person, but in the end of the day, you cannot control someone else's feelings. And that is one person. That person you may have absolutely adored, but if they don't adore you like you deserve to be adored, then there is going to be someone else who loves you for exactly who you are and will not want to change anything about you. Remember that. Right, pull yourself together, Sophie. Pull yourself together. What has helped me in number 5 so much through all of this? Podcasts, meditation, audiobooks. Honestly, like, podcasts for me are life-changing, and I am so happy. Like a year and a half ago I discovered podcasts. I'll list some below and some of like the TED Talks and stuff that I've watched over the last few weeks, but I absolutely love Elizabeth Day's podcast. Like I've said it on here before, like How to Fail, and she actually talks in her book a lot about failing at marriage and relationships and friendships and things like that. And it's, you know what I think the really great thing is, it gives you so much insight, it gives you a lot of perspective, it makes you feel like you are not the main thing in this world, you know what I mean? And not that I'm saying that you shouldn't feel this way and so many people have different issues and different problems, because that isn't the way to think about it at all, because your emotions are valid, everyone's emotions are valid, but it kind of does make you think that other people go through this all the time. Like heartbreak is debilitating, it's lonely, it's sad, it's scary, but the thing that you have to remember is that people go through this all the time. Almost certainly everyone will go through this in their life. And it also, podcasts and audiobooks are so great for when you're in moments of thought. Although, going back to the second point that I had, that you have to feel your emotions, sometimes when you are, say, like on a long train journey like I was then, and you don't want to keep on going over and over and over thinking about the person in your head, it's really important to have like a little distraction and something to like else to listen to, if you know what I mean. So get them in your life. Leading on from that, never be afraid to show your vulnerability. One of the best things that I did, I think, in this whole situation, as soon as Saturday happened, so the day after, I wanted to make it clear on social media, not going through all the details or anything, and I haven't talked about him or what happened, but I really wanted to share that I'm going through this traumatic experience in my life and a little bit of a curveball in my life, because one, it actually helped me a little bit with the grieving loss process, and two, actually people, so many, and some of you might be some of the people who shared their story, hundreds and hundreds of DMs, like it might even be thousands of stories of heartbreak, like absolutely gut-wrenching stories. Every single one had the same thing that was said after months or years. There's two things: came out stronger, that they learnt lessons, and that time is a healer. And those two things is something that it didn't matter the situation that the person was in, how horrendous it was, eventually they understood that this gave them resilience with time, and it did make them stronger. So actually, in a weird way, it was almost like, in kind of like a selfish way, it was kind of like free almost therapy for me, that I understood that I wasn't alone. And I think there is something so powerful about knowing that you are not alone in this or your thoughts. It's like just mental health in general, and I know how much mine has kind of spiraled down, and I'm kind of trying to now pick up the pieces. And as long as you know that you're not alone, I just think that is such a powerful thing. Number 7, stop thinking about the person that broke up with you or your ex as this kind of icon, like this Jesus figure. Because as much as mine just came out of the blue, there obviously were some things in like general life that annoy you about a person, but as soon as you're rejected, it's the same as like, you know, dating, playing hard to get and stuff. It kind of is a thing, even though like I don't do that, I've never done that before. I don't think I'd be able to play games, but it kind of is a thing because our instinct is to want what we can't have. So if someone breaks up with us, it's the ultimate thing of wanting what we can't have. So we just think, oh my gosh, this person is insanely amazing, like I will never get this person again, I must not be good enough if they don't want me. And the thing is, and this is like my other point, that you are good enough. Of course you are good enough. Just because they don't believe, because they've got their own issues going on or whatever, we don't know about what a person is truly thinking, we can only go off what they're saying. You are good enough. So instead, and I never want anyone to think negatively, there are two things that mindfulness and meditation and yoga teaches us about being in the present moment. So like what I'm doing right now. So I'm not thinking about, oh my gosh, we were supposed to go on holiday next month. Oh my gosh, Christmas is going to be really, really sad. I'm going to be on my own. Oh my god, in 10 years down the line, I'm just going to be alone with a few cats and I'm not going to have a boyfriend. Your mind goes off on this crazy little tangent and you're like, right, okay, no, that is untrue, mind. Like, I can control this. I am living in the present right now. I know that I will find someone that I absolutely adore in the future, and I'm stopping thinking this person is the most wonderful thing on the planet that I am so lucky to find, because in the end, you are your own person. Number 8, when you hit rock bottom, there is really nowhere else to go down, so the only way is up. And what has happened to me over the last 17 days, I have to reassess, because I'm going to be quite straight up honest, guys. I am quite an introvert, and I am very guilty when I go in relationships of saying no to things, saying no to opportunities, because basically I am really content and comfortable in a relationship. So it's a really good opportunity when things like this happen to connect with people. I lost touch with quite a lot of friends. I was a bit of a flaky friend, and because of that, people stopped kind of saying, do you want to come out, or do you want to go for coffee? So actually getting back in touch with people, and if you do contact people, it's actually amazing how many people are willing to comfort you and support you and reach out to you. So it may not even be direct friends, it may be like acquaintances. I touched on this in 8, the last one, but number 9 is just work. So I know that it's a thing, like pushing yourself into work after a breakup, but quite honestly, and so many people have said this to me, some like traumatic times in your life, like a breakup and heartbreak and loss and everything like that, it's actually crazy how much it just like opens your eyes to more possibilities. It's so weird, like I can't really explain it. But like I said, I've been in like this comfortable, safe like space for a while, and I haven't like pushed myself, and I've known that I really want to like change up some bits, but I'm almost like too scared of doing it. And after this happened, like 3 days afterwards, my friend Lucy, who's also on social media as well, she recommended to me a life coach called Wendy, and I've got my first session with her on Friday. And that's not necessarily therapy, it's just to work through my emotions, figure out what I want to do, what's holding me back, and I'm ready for it. So I think with sometimes breakups, it does push you to do different things. You do reevaluate some things, and you learn an absolute awful lot about yourself. So this is kind of the final thing that I honestly do believe, and you may not believe it right now, but I honestly do believe everything in the end happens for a reason. I've said it before on videos as well, that every single thing so far in my life that has been the biggest step forward is when I've reached a failure or some kind of like the bottom. I've reached the bottom and there's nowhere to go down, that the only way is to make a change. And even though this change isn't my doing and I'm still horrendously sad about it, it's heartbreaking. I mean, not only are you grieving like the now relationship, you're grieving for the relationship that you saw in the future. I've lost my best friend, I've lost my boyfriend, and it's bloody horrible. Like, there's no easy way to say about this pain that you feel when you lose someone. But in the end, and I can see a little bit more light every day. I'm feeling a little bit better in myself every day. I'm starting to plan things away from different times and like start planning things that I would have never done before. And in the end, life can just throw you things, and it is how you deal with that. And the only person that you will definitely have to live with for your whole life is yourself. And I know that that's a bit of a kind of cliche, cheesy motivational speech, but it's absolutely true. Like, in the end, you have to learn to be yourself and love yourself whilst being in love with someone else. And you know, I've no doubt in the end someone else will come in my life. Obviously I'm not really thinking about that now, but I will always be open to possibilities because I believe in love. And I think if you don't believe in love, then it just becomes like a negative spiral. So my final thing, it may be difficult to understand right now, and you may never know all the answers, and you may always be looking for a conspiracy theory or thinking that this was the wrong thing that happened. But what I would say is, when a breakup ends, just it wasn't meant to be, right? So with that being said, guys, I am going to leave it there, but I am obviously back on YouTube now. I am going to draw a line under talking about my whole breakup thing, because even though it has been a real big healer being open about it on my Instagram, I do feel like I've got to a point now where I don't really want to talk about it anymore. I want to kind of do the rest of my healing in private and then just like get on with my life, because in the end, when someone else comes along in the future, they won't want to hear that I'm still talking about my breakup, my ex-boyfriend. You know how it is. Like, that isn't going to be like the best start to dating. But I'm really excited for something that's come from this horrible time in my life. My moving on series. So if you've got any suggestions, I put it on my Instagram. A lot of people are saying like moving out of university, moving out into the world, moving on in like a toxic friendship. It's all about moving, and this is also part of my wider thing that is going to be announced quite soon for January, that I'm working on at the moment. So I hope you made it through. Well done for making it through. But I want to say thank you, guys. I probably will right now. Thank you so much for all your support. Like, I literally, it's like having so many friends I just want to like cuddle in my arms. And I'm also like so sorry for the times that you're going through as well, because I know that a lot of you are struggling, but I want to say it's going to be okay and we're going to get through this. So until next time, guys, I will see you in the next video.